Hi, welcome to your astrology forecast for April 16th through April 22nd, 2015. And just a couple of quick updates. Venus moved into Gemini on April 11th, 2015. So this is going to help us to be more communicative in our relationships and perhaps even meet new people that can be friends of ours, especially around our neighborhood. And it's also a great time to connect with people more often, especially on an intellectual level, and communicate about what it is you value and what it is you love. And then Mercury also moved into Taurus on April 14th, 2015. And so Venus and Mercury are actually in mutual reception right now because Mercury rules Gemini and Venus rules Taurus. So Mercury moving into Taurus helps us to communicate about our values and what we value, and also about finances and money and our things, possessions. We may maybe even have more of an intellectual connection with our possessions. And since they're in mutual reception, this really means that we can communicate more about things that we love and that we value and about our values. And on April 16th, the moon moves into Aries. So this is going to help us to have more energy and to get more stuff done, take more actions. And we may be a bit more impulsive than usual and maybe react more quickly to our emotional states. So do be careful about overreacting to certain emotional stimuli. And it's a good idea to exercise on this day because you could become a bit more overreactive and temperamental. So releasing those energies through exercise is a good idea. And then Pluto goes retrograde in Capricorn on this day. This is going to have us feeling into some of the power struggles that we've had, and maybe issues with authority figures may be coming up for us on a more internal level, and we may have to become more aware of those things that we might be helping to manifest into our lives through our own emotional states that we've experienced, or our own associations with authority figures could be exacerbating issues with authority figures in our outer world. So going within yourself and understanding what those issues are can help you to transform them in both the inner and outer world. So it's a good time to go within and see where it is you have anything like that. And it's also good for going within yourself to understand what it is you want to do with your career and what it is you want to do in the world in general, what you want to do to be like an authority on, or a public figure perhaps, or as your status in the world. You may be contemplating your status right now and contemplating what it is you are really wanting to do in terms of your career and that whole thing. And then on April 17th, the moon conjuncts the south node in Aries. So this is going to have us looking at the places where we might need to look at where we are causing any difficulties emotionally for ourselves. We might have to look at our emotions from, okay, how am I causing this kind of thing? Any issues where we may be causing our own problems. And also letting go of any selfish tendencies or tendencies towards impulsiveness or the negative side of Aries. But it's also good for getting in touch with yourself as well and understanding the places where you've actually been most naturally good at. So maybe even looking at your gifts as well in that, while simultaneously letting go of any tendencies that have worn out their welcome. All right. And then the moon conjuncts Uranus in Aries. So this could bring unexpected things on this day, unexpected occurrences, maybe unexpected insights, especially into your emotional selves. And generally, this could be very groundbreaking. There could be very groundbreaking insights and things that just shake up your reality and can kind of make things more exciting sometimes, but it can also be upsetting if you're not willing to make the changes that are necessary for new growth to occur, because that's what mostly Uranus and Aries is all about, is making way for new growth and letting go of things that are keeping you from becoming who you are. And then Mars in Taurus squares Jupiter in Leo. You may be or have a tendency towards overpromising or overexpending yourself, or overextending yourself would actually make more sense there. And so make sure not to overextend yourself on this day or overpromise or take on too many actions that you have to get done. You could definitely be very busy on this day, and it's not a good idea to overspend during this time, because Mars in Taurus may be a bit more impulsive about spending, and then Jupiter in Leo is overly optimistic about creating more money. And so it's a good idea to make sure to keep yourself in check. Keep the little voice inside handy, you know, the little voice that tells you, oh, maybe I should save for a rainy day, that one. So yeah, definitely try to watch yourself on this day about spending, but it's also great for moving towards new things to do and new ideas, new creative possible ways of making money. It's great for that. There's a lot of creativity there and a lot of possibility there, but don't get overly optimistic to the point where you overextend. Okay, on April 18th, the moon conjuncts Sun in Aries, which is a new moon. So this is wonderful for starting new things, starting new projects, starting new ways of being yourself, and actually being yourself. And it'll be easier to be more in line emotionally, as well as just generally being yourself. Sorry, my cat is messing around over there. All right. And then the moon moves into Taurus on April 18th as well. So this helps us to tune into what it is we value and maybe what it is we want to do to make money in the world, and kind of tuning in emotionally around those things. And it's good for kind of chilling out and kind of taking care of your possessions or your body or even finances, and making sure to enjoy your senses on this day and really getting the most out of being alive, being in this physical form. But don't be too overindulgent to the point where you overeat or eat the wrong stuff, or, you know, that kind of thing. Because Taurus loves food and sweets, and, you know, it loves food. So got to be careful there. But, you know, of course you can enjoy healthy, good food. And, you know, there's so much good food in the world that is healthy. So, I mean, why not indulge in that way, right? Okay. All right. On April 19th, Mercury in Taurus sextiles Neptune in Pisces. So this is actually great for bringing your dreams into a more realistic state and being able to take your time in understanding some of these things. You might not fully understand things like in terms of these ideas that you're getting and the insights you're getting about, you know, intuitive things, like intuitive insights coming in. And Taurus likes to really take its time and to really actually make things very tangible. So you may have a lot of instinctual gut feelings, and um, may want to write down some of these feelings that you're getting so that you can kind of act on them later. And it could even be surrounding finances and values and what you could do to make money that would be more in line with your values. And you could also have conversations about these things. And conversations are likely to be at a more intuitive and deeper level, and more empathic and instinctual even. So you can kind of tune into a deeper thing and deeper parts of what you value in conversations, and maybe what other people value in within the conversations, like talking about your values and kind of the bigger picture of what those values really entail. And then Venus in Gemini squares Neptune in Pisces on this day as well. So Venus in Gemini may have us being so much on this like mental and intellectual kind of level that we kind of need to go a little deeper. Neptune in Pisces is kind of asking us to dig a little deeper. And there could also be a tendency to over idealize our relationships at this time, or look at them from an unrealistic perspective. But there's also a lot of potential to express your love in a very intuitive yet kind of fun way, because Gemini is playful. It likes to have a play on words kind of thing. So there could be a lot more intellectual stimulation and, that kind of thing. But Neptune also wants us to be like looking deeper and intuitively, and that could actually help to give us more insights on a more conscious level as well, by digging deeper and looking at our dreams, maybe even, and any symbolic kinds of things. And in fact, symbols could be very important right now in conversations, and symbolism, and even looking at like the deeper meanings of words. That could be an interesting thing to look at right now, especially like with someone else and in conversations with other people, and especially with someone you care about, someone that you love. So yeah, and you could, even incorporate that into something creative that you are into as well. And then the moon conjuncts Mercury in Taurus, helping our emotions get more on board with these conversations about what we love and what we value, and maybe even tuning into those values and what we want to do to create more money in the world, or money for ourselves. So conversations about money are definitely going to probably come up during this time, and also about what it is you value. So a lot of that's definitely, indicated here with Venus in Gemini and Mercury in Taurus, and then the moon and Mars there. This is just all around about that stuff. Okay, and then the moon conjuncts Mars in Taurus. Yeah, impulsive spending could occur here, especially emotional impulsive spending. So just remember that, money can't buy you love. No. Or, money can't buy you happiness necessarily. But there's also, an ability to take more actions that can help make you money. So it's just as easily possible to make money during this time as it is to spend it. So, they're equally easy to do during these times of Taurus. So using this energy to make money would be a good idea, especially around something that you value and that you find value in and that you love. And then the sun moves into Taurus on April 20th. So, okay, even more focus around money and values, and even more on physicality and possessions, and on your senses, enjoying that sort of thing, and really putting a lot of focus into those areas. A lot of energy can be had through enjoying these things, enjoying the finer things in life, enjoying, food and you know, all of the things that money can buy. That can definitely be a theme during this time. All right, and then the moon moves into Gemini on April 20th as well. And so this helps us to communicate our emotions and to understand our emotions from a different perspective, a more intellectual and rational perspective. We can have a tendency to over-rationalize our feelings or get kind of caught up in our head about them. So try not to, create a mental drama in your head about how you're feeling, and just try to maybe meditate a little more on this day so that you don't get too caught up in your head. And it's a good idea to kind of get back into your body. Taurus is really asking us to get back into our bodies, get grounded, and get, into this reality and bring our ideas into this reality. So taking actions towards some of these things, would be a good idea. Anyways, Moon in Gemini is, not like that, but this is kind of the counter to that. But yeah, Moon in Gemini is really about talking about your emotions and understanding them through talking and thinking and that sort of thing. But it's really a good idea to kind of tune in a little more so that you don't get caught up in your head too much. But it is kind of fun to do sometimes. All right, and then Mercury in Taurus squares Jupiter in Leo. Yeah, so you could have a tendency to over promise and over exaggerate what you are capable of, or what you think you can do, or what you think you can get done. Mercury in Taurus, of course, is helping us to communicate about our values and our possessions and our finances, and really work things out from a very intellectual perspective, and maybe plan things out from an intellectual perspective. Jupiter in Leo is giving us this huge boost of optimism and creativity, and so this actually could be a good time to put in a long-term creative plan that can help us to make more money. It's not a good time to over promise things. Like, try not to, in those plans, try not to overburden yourself with possibilities. Try to narrow your focus at this time about that sort of thing. And definitely try not to overspend, because that could definitely happen, especially if you're having a lot of fun. Jupiter in Leo is going to want to have a lot of fun, and then, fun sometimes costs money. So it's a good idea to really work things out in a long-term plan that can help you to keep yourself in check. All right, on April 21st, the moon conjuncts Venus in Gemini, helping us to really connect in our relationships in a very intellectual way. It's a good time to actually meet new people and meet people around your neighborhood, and connect emotionally with people around your neighborhood, and even with your siblings. It would be a good time to connect with your siblings even, and have conversations on the phone, talk to all the people that you haven't talked to for a while, get back in touch with people. It's a great time for connecting. And it's also great for connecting on an intellectual level with someone you love. And so, that could be romantic, or it could even be not romantic. So, and also, you could, I had an idea, but I kind of lost that. Oh, well, maybe it'll come back to me. Okay, Mars in Taurus trines Pluto and Capricorn. This is going to give us a whole boost of power. This is going to help us to dig deep into what we can get done in our careers and in our money situations, so that we can make the most impact. It's a good time for leveraging and kind of making the most out of your energy, making the most out of your time. So it's a good time to actually dig deep into what needs to change in terms of time management, so that you can get more done and get more productive in your life. And then the moon and Venus in Gemini sextile Jupiter and Leo, and they all in conjunct Pluto and Capricorn, creating a yod. So, the moon in Venus and Gemini, sextile Jupiter and Leo, is all about expressing your love. That's actually what I was going to say, and I remember now. But moon in Venus and Gemini and Jupiter and Leo are all about expressing your love. You can communicate in fun-loving ways and in ways that are very wordy and fun and also very expressive and expansive and intellectual and philosophical and very fun altogether. And you could really learn new things at this time, especially through relationships and through people that you know and through romance. So a lot of romantic feelings could be coming up in your relationships and in general as well. So that's a lot of fun. And then in conjunct Pluto and Capricorn is asking us to dig deeper so that we can really make a long-term plan within those things, and maybe even utilizing more of a long-term system for our creativity, because the moon and Venus and Gemini and Jupiter and Leo are all very creative and extremely expressive, as I've already mentioned. So this is great for grounding in and creating a really good system that can help you to bring these ideas and these this creative energy into reality, and maybe even making a career out of it so that it's, more solid. So yeah, I mean, Capricorn's all about solidifying, but these things may not manifest for a while because Pluto went retrograde. So this is really an internal thing, and writing a lot of this down and creating this idea, maybe even through, just, writing and putting it on the internet or something. Maybe not the internet, but like on your computer, so that you can later edit it and publish it or something. That's just an example that I was thinking about. Okay. On April 22nd, Mercury in Taurus trines Pluto in Capricorn, helping our conversations about money get to a deeper level and about our career, and being more serious about maybe starting new things in your career. And if you do have a boss or an authority figure, you could have a really groundbreaking conversation with them, and they can get you started on a new level in your career as well. So this is really a time to dig deep into what it is you value and what it is you want to do for these things, for your career, for making money, and really making some connections with people who are authorities in what it is you want to do. All right, and then Venus in Gemini sextiles Jupiter and Leo, which I already kind of talked about anyway, but this is great for expressing your love, having a good time in your relationship, having a playful and fun time in your relationships, whether they're platonic or romantic, but more likely romantic. And it's also a good time to help your children learn and have more fun with your children and help them be more creative and expressing love for your children and for children in general, and helping them to get in touch with their more playful and fun side as well. And then Mercury conjuncts Mars in Taurus. So this could have a tendency towards being a bit more impulsive in your communication, but not as likely because it's in Taurus. But you could be a lot more straightforward in how you communicate and very solid in your convictions, especially around your values. You don't want to get too defensive about what it is you value, because other people will have different values than you, and it's important not to be too stubborn in those conversations. But it'll be easy to really hone in on those things and be able to communicate them with such conviction that it won't be too hard to convince people of the things you value or what it is you value, or. All right, and then the moon moves into Cancer. So this is great for nurturing ourselves, nurturing our emotions, and going, within ourselves a little more, and going home, hanging out at home, chilling out, taking care of our homes, and cooking at home, and just taking a bath or reading a book, doing stuff like that. Cuddling up with your pets or whatever, or your children if you have a children, or your family, hang out with your family, and maybe having more time to nurture your family. Uh, that whole thing. Okay, that's it for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share if you did. And I will talk to you soon. Have an awesome week.